My favorite comic book stories always seem to begin with some sort of a tragedy, and the hero of this story is no exception. But unlike these comic book stories, the hero of our story had obstacles placed before him and challenges throughout his life that would seem overwhelming to most of us. J.J. Arms took tragedy to triumph to become a real-life superhero, the world's most successful private investigator, and he did this despite the fact that he lost both of his hands. Hello again, this is John Wild here to give you another look at vintage action figures. This time, we will look at J.J. Arms, the world's greatest private investigator from Ideal Toys in 1976. At first look, it would seem that the J.J. Arms figure is a simple knockoff to the wildly successful $6 Million Man toy line from Kenner. Like Steve Austin from the $6 Million Man, J.J. Arms lost limbs in an accident. But J.J. Arms is a real man, not a fictional character. J. Arms has no bionic implants or superhuman abilities, or does he? Here's a little background information. J.J. Arms, born J. Arms in El Paso, Texas, August 12, 1932. A Mexican-American. When J. Arms was 11 years old, a friend, 7 years his senior, broke into a Texas Pacific Railway section house and stole some railway torpedoes. These railroad torpedo devices are used as a warning when laid onto the rail of an upcoming hazard on the line. A small explosion would warn the engineer of the train when they were ran over, but on that day, J. Arms rubbed the two torpedoes together and they exploded in his hands, mangling them. Amputation was used to save Jay's life. Using his strong Christian beliefs and against his doctor's wishes, Jay was fitted with prosthetic hands, which he skillfully learned to use. Then, J.J. Arms trained the rest of his body, becoming athletically fit and a great school sportsman. After school, J.J. Arms went to Hollywood to pursue a career in acting, but disillusioned with the immoral life he found there, he returned to El Paso to train to become a private investigator. He used his hard work ethic, his Christian beliefs, and became a very successful investigator, opening franchises in major cities across the United States of America called the Investigators. His most public case was the kidnapping of Marlon Brando's son in 1972. JJ, using his keen skills, tracked the kidnappers to the Pacific Mexican coast. In a cave, Brando's son was being held by what JJ described as hippie types. Landing with his helicopter nearby, JJ single-handedly rescued the child and returned him to the United States. This rescue led JJ to the public spotlight. Soon, JJ appeared on late-night talk shows and appeared in an episode of Hawaii Five-0 as the villain Hookman. JJ then chronicled his success in his autobiography in 1976. This year, he also launched the J.J. Arms toy line from Ideal Toys. He also created an investigative course for children that was presented in many public schools in 1978. His business flourished, and offices of the Investigators opened in many cities in the United States. But now, let's go back and look at the very cool toy, J.J. Arms, World's Greatest Investigator action figure. So the figure stands at 9.5 inches tall and is built off the body of a Captain action figure from the 1960s. He retailed for $5.99 back in 1976. The figure came dressed in cloth outfit. He has a blue sweater on. Underneath his vest, you can see there's a J.J. Arms decal right on his chest there. He has this fake leather vest. And on the vest, it also has another paper sticker that says J.J. Arms. He's got on a pair of tan khaki pants, and on his feet, he has what I would consider a pair of cowboy boots or work boots. Maybe dingo boots. It was the 1970s. Let's get an overall look at this figure. Okay, so let's take a look at the articulation of the figure. So the head is on a ball joint, kind of goes to the left, to the right, goes up and down, which is really cool for the time. And he goes to the right and he goes to the left. At his arms, he has a joint at the elbow that allows his arms to come up and go down. They also go forward and slightly back. He has a elbow joint that will turn. He has a rotation on that elbow also. So very good articulation for the 1970s. The hand accessory actually has a rocker plate in it, so his hand can move back and forth. Moving on to the waist, the figure has a waist joint. We take a look here, you can see it's a very, very fragile piece that holds the bottom and the top of this figure together. Unfortunately, a lot of the times when you find J.J. Arms figures out in the wild, there is just a piece of string that's holding the top and the bottom of this figure together. Unfortunately, there's no way to crack the chest or the waist to reattach this figure if he becomes broken. At least no way that I've known yet, and maybe someday someone will figure out a way to restring one of these figures. So unfortunately, a lot of these figures, when that string breaks, essentially you're either gluing the torso back together or figuring out another way to keep your guy together. At the hips, he has a joint that will allow his leg to move forward and back. He has a knee joint, and also there's rotation at that knee joint. And I think underneath the boot, his feet would rock forward and back, but they definitely do have a swivel at that joint also. So really excellent articulation for this figure. The figure came with a suitcase. It was red. It's got his J.J. Arms logo on it, and it's also printed on the other side. Inside of this case is where you would store all the additional accessories that came with your J.J. Arms figure. Here are the accessories that came with the J.J. Arms action figure. We'll take a look at each one individually. Here's the first accessory, and it's a knife. Kind of cool. Got a little bit of a blade sight on here, a little bit of a hook. It has on the other end of it, you can see like a ribbing on the piece that allows that to slot into the arm of the J.J. Arms figure, and it gives a little bit of grip so that it holds in nice and tight. So there was the knife. So these are the two suction cup arms that came with the figure. They articulate. It's really kind of cool that they're still around and they're still holding together even after all these years. So you would put these onto your figure and then attach him to anything smooth, and he would be able to hold his weight up, and that's really cool. Let's show a demonstration of that right now. Okay, the next accessory here is a magnet. So there's a magnet on this end. Again, attaches into the figure's arm on this side. And the magnet, he would be able to pick up small magnetic pieces. Let's take a look at this. Now, if you wanted to release the magnet, all you had to do was just pull forward on the hand. So he comes with two mechanical hands. Now, interestingly, these are not the same hand produced twice. There's a right and there's a left. So we look at them, you'll see that they are a right and a left. So if you're looking to put together a J.J. Arms figure, be aware of the fact that there is a right and a left mechanical hand. So how these work is this. So basically you would attach him to the figure using the peg, and you're going to press down and it opens up the hand. So he would be able to grip onto things. So here's an example of Jay using his mechanical hands. Also, you could use these to have him slide down a rope. Now let's take a look at that. The last accessory we have to look at is his hidden pistol. So this is on a little swivel. This would then hide behind his, you could probably tuck his sweater over the top of this if you so chose to do so, and it looks like his regular, mechanical hand. What you would do is you would then just spin this around, and Jay's pistol is right there for him to use. And he used to do this a lot on the talk shows, is use this kind of gimmick that he had, that he could draw a pistol basically like that. It was really pretty impressive. So that is the last accessory that came with the figure. Now let's take a look at what the figure would have looked like in his original packaging and additional toys that were available in the line. After the 1970, J.J. Arms' popularity nationally waned. His business, though, continued to be successful, and in 1989 he was honored as the most successful investigator in the country from the International Society of Private Investigators. J. Arms is now retired and still living in El Paso, Texas, his home and sanctuary for his exotic pet collection. In conclusion, the J.J. Arms toy line didn't last for very long, and the lack of any villain limited the play value of the figure. Often, toy companies wouldn't produce any villains, and I just never got why they would do so. So, is J.J. Arms' Ideal Toys shot at stealing some of the thunder of the success of the $6 Million Man toy line? I guess. But now, years later, after learning all the cool details about J.J. Arms, I really wanted to have this figure in my collection. J.J. Arms is a unique man, and an action figure to allow this legendary investigator's legacy to be remembered is awesome. I would like to thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to catch my latest uploads. And until next time, J.J. Arms is the world's greatest investigator. Last piece. Hello. Hello. Hello, Pete. Pete. Is that you, Pete?